Hey, what's it been? 4 years? More than 4 years. So, first off, I'm a little horrified because this is not how I would imagine my YouTube uploads to be at this point in 2018. I'm not filming on my Canon Rebel. I'm filming on an ancient Galaxy S5. Not exactly tickling my amateur standards of professionalism, however that sentence works. So, yeah, again, it's been 4 years. And I remember, what was my first video on this channel? I mean, for those of you who are here, all 12 or 10 of you, because I think two of those 12 are me, out of the subscribers. My first video, vlog one, was about starting college. I think I filmed that like towards the beginning of the year. I just got my acceptance letter for my university, for my scholarship, all that kind of stuff. And I had it in my head that I was going to vlog at least once a week. And of course, throughout the beginning and middle of the year, I figured out that wasn't quite going to happen. But I had the idea that I'd do something like that in college. Kind of track my progression, do the whole dorm tour kind of thing, and might get to that eventually because I've pretty much lived in the same room for the past 4+ years. So not a whole lot's changed. But I wanted to kind of track my progress, how I viewed the college experience, and which is now that I look at like what's been on YouTube in the years since I started, that's not really an unusual concept. A lot of people have done that, and I feel like many, many more have started out semi-strong, kind of like I think like where I was going for a second, and then as soon as college hits, it's like yeah, nah, that ain't happening. So, for those of you who don't remember, and I don't know how many people this video is actually going to get out to, because I know like when I started this channel and then when I started college, a lot of you who are subscribed, you were my friends online, and you guys were all starting off in similar paths. So, I know how life goes. You maybe have a different account now. So I might have to spam this on my social medias, which will be linked in the description below. So, what's it been like for the past 4 years? Well, I mean, I think I'm going to fill in some videos as time goes on, but I think what I want to talk about today, because it is December 31st, and we all think about, New Year's resolutions, how we failed the ones that we made at the beginning of this year, and I think we're going to go beyond just this year and talk about where I think for me and for people in general, a lot of times our expectations on where we'll be don't always match up to where we end up being. So, again, I maybe I mentioned in this video, I'm kind of a little scatterbrained right now, but I'm studying engineering. I'm a senior. I'm actually entering my second year as a senior in engineering. I remember when I started, my scholarship was 4 years, and I was certain that I'd start and finish within 4 years. Because if you grind out hard enough, you can finish a mechanical engineering degree in 4 years. So different things happened. Even though I had a full ride scholarship to school, I'm also an independent student. It's not really like I don't really have like a secret fund somewhere that I can like call up and get some money stashed into my account. So on average, I've held about 2 jobs while also being a full-time student. And I've done different things throughout uh, my time here at my university. I started a service fraternity. Was president of the honors college just earlier this year, spring semester. I finished up a year as being the student body president. So those things kind of get in the way, and you can't be taking those 15, 16, 17-hour semesters like you'd like to be taking. You're taking 12-hour semesters because you're juggling so much. And you make kind of executive decisions sometimes as you're going through your coursework, right? You're like, oh, well, I'd rather drop this class than make an F. That seems like it makes more sense, if you're struggling in a class. So, and that's definitely been the case with me. But so, I was kind of wandering a bit. Again, I imagined I would have graduated this spring. And leading up to this spring of 2018, I realized that I wouldn't be graduating until December of 2018. Sort of the way, like, I don't have all that many classes left, but the way that classes line up, there's a certain class I need to take this upcoming semester, which is starting in a couple weeks. And that unlocks like the last three classes I need to graduate, which are only offered in the fall. And I'm sure many of you, or the few of you who are watching, those of you who are in the university can relate, especially those who have gone to a smaller university. Like there's only about 7,500 students at the school I go to here at McNeese. So I had the impression that I would already be working towards my career. I'd be graduated. I'd have my degree, and because what is it? It's December 31st, 2018. I expected to have graduated middle of May 2018, and I've, I thought, oh, well, I'll use internships, research experience, all that kind of stuff to possibly leverage employment post graduation. But where am I today? I mean, I have a degree. It's just a 2 year, and I'm waiting for those last couple credits to be completed. And I do have some work experience. This summer I published a paper on some research I did in heat transfer and some prototype work there. I'm starting my third internship for Northrop Grumman, actually. These guys back there this summer, last one before I graduate, and I, Lord willing, will be working for them starting in like 2020. But so that's like, again, I'm rambling with all these like technical things, and I want to address some of the more, this is a kind of abstract idea. Uh, because I think sometimes when you see that you haven't quite hit the max level of your goal, hit the utmost achievements that you were planning on, because there's nothing wrong with aiming high, but when we fall short of that high standard, I think we can think of ourselves as being in a rut when maybe we're not even in a rut. And of course, there's different ways of looking at this. Perhaps I'm saying this now because I want to comfort myself in the fact that I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve in this time period allotted to me. But I think if you get in that mindset, then there's never any time for recovery or adaptation. Like I said, again, I imagined that I would have had my bachelor's by now, and instead I have an associate's in applied science, and I'm a few credits away from getting that bachelor's, and it's going to be a year before I get it. So that feels kind of like a failure, right? Because I had this goal, 4 years, boom, done, go right in the industry, and it's instead I've worked in the industry and then done school and then done research and school and other extracurricular things here at the university. A lot of things that aren't necessarily like related to engineering, and there's some people who would say that was a waste. You should have just stayed focused and not messed with student government or different charity initiatives and stuff. And I think maybe even like maybe like if some of that I make jokes sometimes that I imagine like my 15-year-old self pointing and laughing at me with some of the things that I thought were so important when I was younger and so unimportant at the same time. My priorities have kind of switched as time has gone on. Fast forward 12 years, I'm 27, and a lot of the things that weren't directly related to math, science, engineering have meant a whole lot to me. And then, I find myself starting to use the lingo that people say, oh, well, in university you're supposed to become a more well-rounded person, right? You're supposed to make connections, network, um, build your interpersonal skills. And, my gut reaction is someone who kind of values, what do they call it now? STEM, right? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Like, oh, well, that's all a lot of fluff. But then, in my experience, having that ability to connect with people on a personal level, I think it does help you go forward. And I think it helps you understand like where your goalposts are. Like I said, I've done 2 internships with Northrop Grumman so far. I did a year of research on a project for the military also that was separate from that that I was doing for my university. And of course, I worked for years in retail and management and inventory and construction and stuff like that before I came to college. And I think those skills, those kind of intangibles, right, have helped me be able to understand what my managers are, or what management is asking of me, what my supervisors on my internships have asked me, and it's allowed me to interpret some of sometimes even vague instructions into something concrete, being able to solve problems that may have seemed rather abstract, but do have very definite solutions. And so in that, I can't quite say that I regret um, the more social aspects or political aspects that I've gotten involved in as time has gone on. And I think to the best of my abilities, I haven't quite compromised what I believe are my morals. Um, like out of all, when I say I just started a service fraternity, it's not really a Greek life kind of thing. It's more just people sign up, they pay some dues for like T-shirts and stuff, and then we just do volunteer work. And not that I have anything against the Greek community, but I entered college not feeling like that was quite my thing, and then I kind of I got involved sort of like helping out with different charity events that they were involved with, and but then when decision times came, uh, I still feel like I've stayed true to myself and not quite engaging with that because that doesn't feel like it's genuinely me. So what is this? This is a long rambling. I think we're almost at like 12 minutes now. I didn't quite want it to be this long, but I think what I'm trying to say in so many words, and it bothers me that I'm not going to be able to edit this because I'm just doing one take, uploading it off my phone, and then I got to go to work. 9 years in a row working on New Year's Eve. So who doesn't say there's no such thing as traditions in modern America? That's a little bit egocentric, isn't it? Yikes. But I think what I'm trying to say, what I want to kind of address, like in future videos, and I don't want them all to be this kind of introspective stuff, right? Because I mean, a lot of things are universal, but the way I'm framing these ideas are very personal, and again, you don't want to be egotistical and narcissistic and stuff with these kind of ideas. Um, but I guess in like closing, as I'm looking into the new year, because I got different projects going on, I'm looking at hopefully uploading more videos, uh, finishing up these like final classes over the next year, doing my last internship over this next year, and I'm also working on two different like software applications, which are not it's not really my field, but I kind of I know a little bit on how to manipulate some open source stuff, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe that's the secret goal here, right? Build up some subscribers here with like random personal drama, and then spam you guys with a bunch of like download requests for apps. Uh, so this is actually my plea right now. Please download them uh, whenever they come out. But yeah, so like again, as we look into this new year, I think it's important that we do set goals. But if and I think we should set them high. But if we don't quite reach them, but if we've moved towards them, I think that still should be viewed as a success. And then I'm not about the life of like making excuses for being lazy. I'm not about making excuses for myself in the aspects that I've been lazy. Because again, yeah, it's been 4 years. So many things have like come and gone. 4 years is a good bit of time, and uh, pretty sure it's evident from like this camera. I'm not exactly the thinnest person right now, and even since I filmed those original vlogs all those years ago, I got in like better shape than I was back then, and I was in better shape then than I am now. I got really involved in like cross country and stuff like that, and 2 years ago I just kind of like dropped that. I see that's something that I can be disappointed, and I can try to think of excuses, blah blah blah, stress, personal life getting in the way, whatnot. Those might be valid points, but in the end, you know, when you get to the point where like you can run 6 miles at a time, no problem, and then you just stop one day, there's not a whole lot of excuse because like running doesn't take up all that much time, and when you replace that for lying in bed, oh, depressed or whatever, it's you're just kind of feeding that loop, and so that's something for me that I'm kind of disappointed in myself. So again, getting back to New Year's, I think we should set our goals high. You guys set your goals high, but and work towards them. Work towards them. And if you don't reach it, don't feel terrible as long as you're closer to that goal point. And if you're very far from that goal point, then we all have to kind of look. It's like, where did I go wrong? Where was it? Where did I give in to laziness, procrastination, excuses, stuff like that? Where can I pinpoint my divergence from that path to success? And I think that's something that we can do in the future. And that's something we can even do looking back. And it's something that I want to do. So again, closing this without a whole lot of fanfare. Please, have a happy New Year's Eve. Take care, be safe. Have as much fun as you can while staying as safe as you can. I want you guys to make it to 2019, and I hope to see you guys later. Take care.